The United Kingdom's Ministry of Defense latest intelligence update on Ukraine, October 26, 2023. It is almost certain that North Korean munitions have now reached ammunition depots in western Russia that support Russian military operations in Ukraine. If North Korea sustains its recent pace of military-related shipments to Russia, it will become one of Russia's most significant foreign arms suppliers, along with Iran and Belarus. It is unclear what Russia has agreed to provide North Korea in return. The full package is unlikely to have been finalized yet. Russia's compensation to North Korea will likely include a mixture of financial payment, economic support, military technology, and cooperation on high-technology areas like space. Ukraine's Armed Forces General Staff Update. Day 610 of Russia's attempted full-scale invasion of Ukraine continues. There were 45 combat engagements between Ukrainian and Russian forces. Russia launched 14 airstrikes and 12 multiple-launch rocket system attacks, causing civilian casualties and infrastructure damage. The situation remains active in eastern and southern Ukraine. Russia continues shelling from its territory and conducting reconnaissance along the border in the north. Russia tried unsuccessful assaults near several towns in Kharkiv and Donetsk regions. Ukraine repelled multiple attacks. Russia conducted air and ground assaults near Marinka but was repelled. Ukraine continues offensive operations near Melitopol and Bakhmut, inflicting losses on Russia. Ukraine launched one airstrike on Russian troops and one on air defense. Missile forces hit Russian troops and artillery. The Institute for the Study of War Russian Offensive Campaign Assessment. Russia suffered heavy equipment losses around Avdiivka, which will likely undermine its offensive capabilities long-term. Ukraine made marginal gains on the southern bank of Kherson Oblast and continued offensives near Bakhmut and western Zaporizhia. Ukraine denied reports it suspended a civilian vessel corridor in the Black Sea on October 26. A new Russian law amendment allows revoking naturalized citizenship, possibly to coerce migrants into military service. A Hamas delegation met with Russian and Iranian officials in Moscow on October 26. The Institute for the Study of War key takeaways today. Ukraine continued limited offensives in Kherson near Bakhmut and western Zaporizhia despite Russian counterattacks. Russia conducted major offensive operations along several axes but made limited gains. Reports indicate Russia is still using Western components in missile production through intermediaries. Russian authorities are aggressively pushing military patriotic education to indoctrinate Ukrainian youth. Ukraine Matters Update. Russia is moving some units from the Kyiv direction to reinforce the Donbas direction. This may lead to additional Russian attacks in the Donbas. Russia is concentrating forces in the south around Vuhledar rather than the north around Bakhmut. Despite more progress for Russia in the north, this could be to prepare for a new push or to defend against expected Ukrainian counterattacks. Ukraine conducted a counterattack towards the village of Pisky to cut off Russian access to the highway and block Russian plans to capture the area. However, Pisky is difficult terrain for attackers, so it's uncertain if Ukraine has enough forces to achieve victory there. In the north near Bakhmut, Russia has reached the railway line and chemical plant. They are trying to expand their control south and north of the railway to widen their encirclement of Ukrainian forces. It's unclear if Russia can continue advancing here. Ukraine's attacks on the southern bank of the Dnipro seem aimed at distracting Russian forces rather than making major gains. Ukraine is likely focusing reinforcements on defending against Russia's main offensive around Vuhledar. The United Nations report documents widespread war crimes by Russia, including torture, rape, murder, and abuse of civilians. This highlights the brutality Russia is inflicting on Ukrainians in occupied areas. The goal is to exterminate and subjugate Ukrainians, not just capture territory. Jake Broe Update. Russia is suffering heavy losses in the battle for Avdiivka, but continues to try to take a slag heap in the area which they believe is strategically important. Waning support for Ukraine from the new Slovakian Prime Minister, who wants to limit aid. Russia and Iran appear to be coordinating attacks on U.S. bases in the Middle East to distract from Ukraine. This highlights the need for continued military support for Ukraine to weaken Russia and Iran. Russia continues heavy bombardment around Avdiivka and has planted flags at the slag heap, though neither side fully controls the area. Doubts about whether Russian Defense Minister Shoigu actually visited frontline troops or a staged location underground. Russia carried out test launch of Mobile Intercontinental Ballistic Missile, ICBM, overseen by Putin, seen as nuclear saber rattling. Ukraine continues to liberate territories and help children recover from Russian occupation.